Okay, so here's my story.
This one, maybe you should explain what this one was about, like how we started, what the...
Okay, because we were all in costume today, most everyone had brought a book of some kind.
Of what their costume was from?
Of what the costume was from. So, this one we all put in our book, passed it around the circle, so we weren't using our books, and took, like, just opened it at random and pulled out a sentence from each one. So, like, the book I was pulling from was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and then we also each contributed an event which we suggested, which had to be involved in the story. The events were bones, iron poisoning, a jello fight, dangling out a window, and singing happy birthday. And then we had 15 minutes to try and make a story from that with a phrase from a book and those 5 events. And so here's mine. And the first line was from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. A thoroughly ridiculous form of transport, but a thoroughly beautiful one. That's what I'd always thought about travel by sail. The efficiency of floating across a body of water propelled by nothing more than the breeze was doubtful. But a ship coming in full sail to Pier 13 was enough to make one reconsider becoming a romantic. I looked down at the message on the phone in my hand and dismissed that notion. Best to keep heading home. I'd leave the romance to the children singing happy birthday in the park I passed, or the college students reminiscing about how the party last night had turned into a fight when a couple started throwing jello shots. I'd leave the romance to the English majors, because I'd just spent 16 hours on a stakeout in the rain, of which 7 were actually hanging out a window. My bones ached, and the knife slash on my ribs throbbed like the blade had been poisoned. Yeah, beauty and romance for people whose clients hadn't just texted them to say they weren't even getting paid overtime for the hours in the rain. Not my fault she had given me the wrong address to watch, but some people just don't listen to reason. And right now, all I was listening to was the siren song of a hot shower, followed by a reasonably unlumpy couch to crash on. And tomorrow I was giving up the private investigator racket and shipping out on that boat.
I didn't get in the dangling out the window. I think that's the only one. Let's see.
Well, what book did you pull from?
I took from I Tell You I Love You, but that I'd have to kill you. Which is what Jasmine came in costume as. Okay. Liz, I snapped. I looked up at the lights and watched her descend. It's just not worth the risk, okay? I stopped shaking my friend by the shoulders and took a step back. Just stay, I whispered. Liz stood glaring at me with the most metallic expression I had ever seen.
Metallic?
You know, like steely.
Okay.
Irony.
Sorry.
I'm just making up my own thing. These bones are more important than anything I've ever done in my life, Alice, she said coldly. I felt the plane jerk and knew we had come to a stop. So did Liz. She stood up and walked down the aisle. I sat in that seat staring at the place my best friend had been all the way back to Atlanta. Man, I thought, this is not the kind of birthday I've been looking forward to. As I got off the plane, my family was there singing happy birthday. This is the part which I was just like, I don't understand why they're there to meet me at the airport after this important mission. Anyway, I guess they had gotten used to my erratic departures because they didn't ask about Liz or what had happened. Meanwhile, okay, this is obviously from Liz's point of view. Every fiber in my body was telling me to turn around and say goodbye to Alice. I knew she was just trying to keep me safe, but this job was more important than my safety. I had to find the bones, find out if it was really iron poisoning which had killed them, and hopefully return home safely. Totally doable, I told myself. I'll make it home for Alice's birthday party, and hopefully I can start a jello fight like last year. I just had to fill in the jello fight.
That's cool. Bonnie's possibly doing
Here's the fail one there.
Wait, what book?
This this one.
Rosemary
And Ruth. Which nobody came across him from.
No, I just grabbed it because it was Georgia didn't have a book.
Okay. I reached up to push the hair out of my eyes and froze. I wasn't wearing human disguise. I was still too dizzy by the iron poisoning to spin one, and my hair wasn't covering my ears. Wow, I thought as I put down the book I was reading. That was intense.
That's not quite fair.
Sure it is. I was in the favorite part of my favorite book. It was, in the book, it was during a school jello fight, and she had to be in disguise to sneak across the schoolyard and dash home and out of the confusion. You see, this is no ordinary jello fight. It was iron-injected jello. She was about to jump out of the window and trying to get home, but stopped and remembered, this is three stories up. She was thinking about the consequences of what would happen, like her getting stuck and having to dangle from the window. Just then, some girls come up to her and started singing Happy Birthday. In the end, she wakes up from her strange, upsetting dream.
Creative use of dreaming in books. Nice.
Well, let's see
I
something
like
else
the
that
iron
was
injected
better.
jello.
So I got my phrase from Trixie Belden and the Mystery in Arizona, which Courtney brought.
Yeah.
And I
She's as pretty as she is competent and is already very popular with the guests. Actually, Miss Veneer Rosenblatt was very popular with the guests. Her head had fallen off already 7 times, and the other creatures, instead of playing soccer with it, as they normally do, merely put it back on her shoulders with the utmost respect. Everybody began singing Happy Birthday, merely a joke, a mockery of humankind, because today was more precisely her 541,274th death day. She was in fact a zombie creature, which she hated to be called, but I must make it simple for human people to understand. But really, she was an unpronounceable word. She was a creature with an unpronounceable word, with 7 A's written consecutively in it. She was absolutely gorgeous. Her bones were thin and brittle and jutted out from her skin. Her lips had long ago turned to dust, and her left eye was missing a pupil. I would go on, but human beings tend to cry when they see her beauty. The party began with singing, then with finger and eyeball cake, then with some games, including a jelly fight, which, unfortunately, was undead slang for a knife-throwing contest, which ended in many laughs and with Uncle Merv, a skeleton, dangling from a window. We tried to help him, but we were laughing so hard we felt like we had knives in our sides. Oh, never mind. When Merv got back, that's all I have.
Congratulations on successfully turning that phrase around.
I don't think that's what the author had in mind.
No.
Not quite. And Georgia.
Mine's
different.
Quite different.
And which book did you?
A series of unfortunate events, which is Bonnie's. No monkey business, you two, or I'll have to tie you up and dangle you out of the window. But I might break my bones. Well, I'll throw gel at you. I'll just eat it. Then I'll poison you with an iron. I have no idea what I said there. Well, I'll sing Happy Birthday for 2 hours. I picked throwing jello. All right, then I'll throw jello at you.
Well done.
Nothing.
A dialogue
Nothing
story.
else at all.
Oh, we